What the hell is Kyle Shanahan thinking? Our previous donors asked if he's going to use both quarterbacks. I mean, that's a good place to start. Is it all building up to a 2-quarterback system week 18?
No.
No.
I think it goes back to what we said last week, right? The big bad Texans rolled into town. You don't have to play Jimmy Garoppolo to beat the Texans. Trey Lance is fully equipped to beat the Texans.
They knew that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This week, Kyle isn't as sure about that. Yeah. And there's going to be plenty of disagreement on that. And I'm not here to change your opinion on that. I'm just telling you what Kyle's thinking.
It's fair to wonder. I mean, Trey's an unknown, right? Like Jimmy is as mediocre as he is, So anyway.
Right. I know how to beat these guys.
Yeah.
We're not going to ask Jimmy to throw the ball down the field, right? So the thumb won't have to be in such a big, spot where it can lose you the game, unless Jimmy is just wildly inaccurate and just like airmailing everything and throwing interceptions. But again, the style of the way that the Rams play, Kyle, knowing that Jimmy can execute that game plan, knowing that Nick Mullins can execute that game plan, probably gives the Trey people, the people who want Trey to start, more ammunition, right? Nick Mullins is a similar quarterback in the way that he's not going to take shots down the field. He's a quicker processor, I believe, than Jimmy Garoppolo. Just doesn't have the arm talent sometimes when he's off. But I just feel like Kyle is scared to put Trey in a must-win game when he says, hey, man, I think I can squeeze 75% of Jimmy Garoppolo and get this win if we're able to run the ball, keep them on the sideline and help our defense. And there might be defensive reinforcements coming in, but we'll talk about that in a little bit as well, too. So what Kyle Shanahan is thinking is he's not ready to put Trey in a must-win game just like this because he knew he could win that game last week. So that's what really got me upset about the whole mind games thing last week. You weren't fooling anybody. Nobody cares about that. This week, like if Kyle would have came out last week and said, hey, man, Jimmy's banged up. We're gonna run with Trey. I think we're gonna be in a good. Oh well, you want me to do the Kyle thing, or you want me to just?
Yeah, go ahead. Do it.
All right. We want to give Jimmy the week off, and we really like what he's been doing. And I mean, if Trey, we got a lot of confidence in him and the game plan that we've given out. And next week we'll evaluate where Jimmy is, and we feel real good about that. If he would have said that, everybody would have been fine. Everybody would have been fine with it because it's like, hey, man, you could definitely beat the Texans. That's no problem, right? You can beat the Texans with Trey. But if you really believe that your best shot at beating the Rams was Jimmy Garoppolo, then put him out last week and don't even mess around with any of that. Rest him up and get him ready for this game if that's the case.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle Shanahan's opinion of Trey changed based on that game.
Nope.
I don't. I think, because again, remember Kyle's opinion was that Trey wasn't ready to even compete for the job. Trey wasn't ready to come in mop up duty in early fourth quarters of blowouts multiple times. If he wasn't ready for like the stretch run of playoff football, then why would he all of a sudden be ready to start week 18 against a good team, a very good team? I mean, that would look like a flip-flop. Now, I think that Trey should have been starting all along. I think he should have competed. I think he should have started week 1. I think he probably gave the Niners the best chance to win this week. But from Kyle's perspective, he's been very consistent all year. And for him to all of a sudden say, well, actually now Trey Lance gives us our best chance to win. It's like, so you're admitting that you were wrong all year. And now you're changing. It's like, he's not going to do that. He's going to be as consistent as he's been the last 5 months.
Right. And the hint was all of the talk all the way up until Saturday about, he's doubtful, but we're still holding out hope. Like all of that stuff, that wasn't to play mind games. He wanted Jimmy to play. He wanted him to play as bad as he could. He tried as best he could, but he said at the end, hey, I can still win this game with Trey. And they did.
They did. They were losing at halftime. It all came together, but Kyle really, I mean, he hasn't worked with Trey like that. So you saw the first half. I felt like there was a play caller who's like, I don't really know.
Both of them.
Let's see what happens in the first half, and we'll find something that works in the second half. And they did, to their credit, but you can't do that week 18. I mean, if they have 3 points at halftime, they're going to lose this game. I'll tell you that. Feel very confident about that, and I think that's probably what he's thinking.
For sure.
I do think there's going to come a time where I was going to say, I do think there's going to come a time where he has a very good feel for how he likes calling games with Trey Lance, but that's going to come with time on task together.
Right. Well, thank God the big bad Houston Texans were in town with Davis Mills, the world beater that everybody was trying to tell us about this past week. So, I mean, that afforded them that, hey, let's get our footing. Let's figure it out. The both of them look like, hey, I'm trying to figure out you. I'm trying to figure out you. You're trying to figure out me. And at halftime, they just were like, listen, man, this is where we're at. And then boom, that's what I want to give Trey a lot of credit for, right?
Yeah.
All things considered in the first half, it's not that the stat line looked as shaky. It's just the offense wasn't moving, right? And then you're like, man, where are the design runs? Why are you not taking any shots downfield? And then the second half, it was
why don't you trust Trey's arm? To
right.
me,
It was
like
literally
when you
the
asked him to
opposite.
throw, it was like layup, easy throw, Jimmy throw. But then on that last 38-second drive, he ripped those throws, and I think they went into halftime kind of like, all right, man, I trust you.
Yeah. The best trade throw for me, I know that everybody loves the Debo throw, and the one that I really like was the incomplete go route to Ayuk. But the best trade throw for me was the design throw to Kittle, where he looks at Kittle, there's a guy in his face, he pumps, and then he does what? He throws to the sticks to Sherfield on a second option. 99.999% of the time, the correct read is to Kittle. Jimmy gets it to him, and it's a 2-yard play, and you move to the next down, keeps your offense on schedule. But that is the throw that I was like, all right, there you go. See that right there? That's something that's not in Jimmy's bag, and that is the glimpse of what Trey can be if he continues to develop this way.
But to me, like that's Trey's natural skill set. What I was impressed with were the things that, like, the anticipation throws that he showed late in the first half on, because that's stuff he didn't show in college, and that's like an example of how he's improved on the 49ers. Like the throw to Debo to end the first half. That was a throw he passed up in the first drive. I remember he didn't throw left. He scrambled to his right, hit Ayuk for the first down. Great play. But from Kyle's perspective, he wants the guy who hits the throw in rhythm if it's there. And then he did it. And then later in the second half, the throw to Kittle, I think that was probably his best. It looked overthrown, but that's because Kittle got held. If you slow it down at all 22, you see that he decides to throw it, releases the ball way before Kittle even turns his head. And that's the kind of like on time throws from the pocket that's going to make Kyle Shanahan really, really happy. So that stuff. I think he's thinking that he's encouraged, but it's a lot to ask, dude, to make his 4th start in 2 years in this game. That's a lot to ask.
You see the glimpses, and then again, the decision-making will get better, the processing will get better, but he has the arm, if he's a tick slow on the processing, to beat that. Jimmy doesn't have that. Jimmy has to be on time, look at it, then let it go, because if you don't, that's picked. If you don't throw it right on time, it's picked. It's behind. It's low. Like Trey, if he's a little bit slower getting to the receiver, just even by a half tick, he still has the arm to make up for it, to throw it over, and that's the difference.
And the legs to get out of the pocket, buy time, and create the second play. I really like watching him play.
Right. I was excited about the pocket presence as well, too. Like moving away from a guy and not necessarily looking to run, keeping his eyes downfield. There were a lot of good glimpses. And that's really what 49er fans should have been looking at with Lance. I understand it was a must win, but you had to be looking at him from an evaluation standpoint. I want to see glimpses. I want to see what the future is going to look like. And you saw the glimpses. You see what it can be when everything is eventually going to get right. So I understand 49er fans' excitement. Shit, that got me out of my seat.
Another thing that Kyle's thinking, I think he's figuring out how to use Trey. And I think one thing he found that works for Jimmy is rolling him left. For whatever reason, it works really well for him. I don't know if defenses don't expect it, but he did it a lot for Trey early in the game. And I think as the game went on, we started rolling him right. And you see Trey sprints out so fast when he rolls out to the right. He gets out on the perimeter, and like you stop it on the all 22 from behind, and you can't see any offensive lineman or defensive lineman. He's a much bigger threat to run and throw when rolling to the right, and I think we're going to see more. Anyway, we may not see him this week. I just like talking about Trey Lance. I do. I'm sorry. I do it all the time. That was fun.
That was a fun game to watch. But yeah, I mean, it's it. Yeah.
Big J says, didn't Kyle say the more Jimmy Garoppolo throws, it gets worse?
This will be a 40 run game if Kyle has his way. And that's just how you beat the Rams. Those short throws, like keep everything in front of you is what the Rams are going to do. And also keep it on schedule. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, not 3rd and 9, not 3rd and 12, not 3rd and 15. Like keep the running game going. Because remember, Elijah Mitchell in that first Rams game, I think he had like 22 runs for like 93 yards.
27 for 91. 27. I don't know why I remember that. 27 for 91.
Right.
3.5.
But that's not exactly that's not exactly blowing. Okay. That's not exactly. But the point is, those runs kept the offense on schedule on 3rd down and kept him in close down and distance.
Because if you think about it, with Jimmy Garoppolo, all you have to do is get 3 yards of carry. That sets up 4th and 1, quarterback sneak. You're never off the field. I'm just saying. Yeah. It doesn't have to be explosive. Mm-hmm. Chad says, hey, Grant, love watching your stuff throughout the week. Thank you, Chad. Seeing anything at practice of Jimmy with that thumb? That's our next topic, and we will go right there, but there's a few more questions, so just bear with us. We'll get there in about 3 minutes. Thank you, Chad. But that's the whole show. Jason, your impression needs more ums.
It needs more ums, and it needs more sharp inhales. I'm working on it.
And it needs like a little bit more nasally. Like he really talks directly through his nose. But it was great. It's the best one I've seen so far of anyone.
I'm working on it.
It's fantastic.
I'm working on it.
Who am I to say what it needs more of? It's not quite my tempo. Jeremy says, I think Trey is the only answer. Jimmy would be nice, but where's Jimmy? And we haven't talked about if they win. What then? Jimmy's still hurt. QC. I think Trey is the only answer. Jimmy would be nice, but where's Jimmy? Well, I don't know, man. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of hypotheticals. I want to give you something, Jeremy, because you gave me something. Let's give him something.
I mean, Kyle said that he's going to wait till before the coin toss to figure out who the hell's playing. So, like, I don't even think when the inactives, right? When the inactives come out 90 minutes before, there's still not going to be any definitive thing unless we get a Schefter bomb like we usually do at like 11:30 at night, my time, before the Sunday games, where he's like, this person expected not to play plays. If we get one of those, then we'll figure it out. But as of right now, I'm going to be working under the assumption that it's like right before coin toss. It'll just be like he'll look at both of them and be like, all right, you go.
Maybe he'll flip a coin himself as the coin. Yeah. If it's Trey, if it's yeah.
No, it's going to be a two-headed coin, like Two-Face before he turned. Like he just flips in. It's going to be heads either way. He's going to be like, Jimmy, get in there. You.
Chad says, healthy or not, plan for the future and support the Rook and finish week 18 with a playoff spot. He is not going to be better watching. Yeah.
He should have been playing week 1. And then, here's the thing about him playing week 1 is it should have reset this fan base's expectations. Nobody wanted Trey Lance to start week 1 with the idea that the 49ers were going to win a Super Bowl. A lot of us wanted Trey Lance to start to kick off the development. Start it. Get it going because we already know what this one person is. Let's figure out what this other person is. Luckily, I don't make the decisions, but I think if you would have been asking Kyle Shanahan, hey, you're going into the last week of the season, you could possibly win. And I mean, you could possibly lose and be out of the playoffs. He probably might say, man, you know what? Let's go back in the DeLorean and let's just start this over again because it feels like a lost season.
Well, here's one upside of the Niners playing Jimmy Garoppolo all year. Had they benched him and started Trey Lance all year, there would have been this fantasy among the Jimmy Garoppolo stands that whatever Trey did, Jimmy would have been better. That the Niners would be 13-4 right now with Jimmy. You would have heard that everywhere. And the fact is, everyone saw that that's over, that he's 11-10 in his last 10 starts. He's 8-6 this year. He's gotten hurt 4 times in the last 21 starts. Like that fantasy of Jimmy just winning is over.
But
it's over.
At the same time, I was trying my best to not be rude on Twitter. But when Trey missed the wheel route to Juice, I mean, I don't know when Kyle Juszczyk's ever going to get that throw hit to him. But people were like, oh, yeah, kill Jimmy Garoppolo for that. It's his second start, dude. Not his 8th year in the league. Not his 5th year in the system. Like, and that's the part that it's like there is no win-win situation right here. Oh, you see, he's not the only one who misses Jimmy.
Also, if Jimmy
that's my impression of Tennessee 49er fans.
And if Jimmy had beaten Tennessee and put up a 117 rating and missed that throw, no one would be talking about it.
Nope.
But that was the issue. Was that throw plus the 2 picks and the one that they dropped. It was all a combination of it. That's the problem. Tim says, why would we risk Jimmy getting hurt worse and be on the hook for his contract next year?
Because
you got to get that. You come this far.
Because I mean, I don't know, Tim. Because
it's the best we can do. Salim says, do you see Mostert coming back with a good contract? I think his running style would really be a compliment to a Trey offense. What do you think? Also, thank you for the awesome content every day. I hope, first of all, I want to say I hope everything's okay with Raheem.
His family first, right?
His son. Anyways, his kid has COVID and it's bad or was bad. So hoping he's okay. And I'd love to see him come back. I think though he's had a knee injury for like years. So the Niners would know the state of that. And you can't keep re-signing someone who's hurt all the time. I love Raheem Mostert, but that's a better question for their trainers. But he's okay.
I think what Salim means by good contract is something like a 1-year incentivized deal, something like that.
Right?
Right, or like with Verrett before, right? It's just like, hey, the upside what you can get if he's good. And here's the other thing. I don't know if maybe I'm looking too far into this. Again, shout out to Raheem Mostert, and I'm sending all positive energy to your family because football does not matter right now. I hope everything's good with your son. But have you ever noticed any other player who's out for the year that is on the sideline with his team when it was a knee injury and things like that? Like Raheem seems to really like it here, and he's always posting about the team on social media. He's always hyping them up. So I think that, again, when you heard Jason Verrett say, hey, I had money on the table other places, but I wanted to stay here because I love the culture. I love the training room, which is really not a good thing to talk about, really. But it's how much of that comes into this with Raheem.
Also, remember that Mostert was a journeyman before he came here.
That's what I'm saying. And the 49ers showed confidence in him, and this is where he got his break. Right. Right. Same thing with Verrett. Verrett, nobody wanted him. Everybody was like, what are you doing with this guy? Why do you keep trying? And then look what happens. So maybe he's grateful in that same way that Jason Verrett is. So that's another way to look at it.
Fred Warner telling Lance to take more chances on scout team is telling about our assistant coaches. Shouldn't they be in his ear like that? Yeah, I did think that. He took credit. He's like, basically, I'm the quarterback coach now, and I changed this kid's mindset, and I'm great. And he is. That's great. But where was Rich Scangarello on that one? Rich, if the Niners lose this game, and I don't know if they're going to fire John Lynch, but some people are going to get the axe, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of them. Just saying, Rich.
I mean, who said that Fred isn't earning his money, man?
Seriously, good point.
Well, the other thing is too is this, right? Again, we talked about it. In scout team, the idea of scout team is to throw the ball where the defense is supposed to see it, right? And I think again, my way of looking at it is that Lance got to a point where he was just like, you know what? I'm not going to throw it there to get it batted down. I'm going to take the shot over your head now, and I'm not going to give you the look you want to see.
Yeah, I'm going to make you. I'm going to compete. Let's go. I love that. Matthew Sanders says magic number is 26 points. Niners are 7-1 when they score at least 26. Only losses Green Bay 3-5. Otherwise, if you think Lance can get you 4 TDs, start him. Well, that's interesting because they got 23 against Houston. Maybe that's part of the Niners. Maybe that's part of what Kyle Shanahan is thinking here. Maybe Matthew Sanders is a Kyle Shanahan burner account. It's possible. You can't rule that out.
Hi, Kyle. I'm trying to work on my impression. I don't mean any disrespect either.
Yeah, no, zero. Aussie. It's more of like a roast. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where you hug the guy at the Aussie Niners.
It's like when you make fun of somebody because you love them, right? Like when you're around with your friends and you're just making jokes with them. It's not that you don't like them. If I don't make fun of you, it's because I don't like you.
That's a good point. Aussie Niners says excited for the future with Trey at quarterback, but what is our roster going to be like next season? Are we in rebuild or mini rebuild mode?
They'll use the word reload, but it's going to be closer to
a lot of free agents. But they could do what they did last year and re-sign a bunch of these free agents. Like Tart could come back if they pay him the right amount. Same with K1. I don't know if they will. I don't see the backup
about. I'm skeptical about Tart coming back, man. I just think that they want Hufanga, and why would you want to come back to something where they're kind of grooming your replacement? Oh,
I haven't seen him in a while though.
Yeah,
haven't seen him in a while though.
I mean, he's hurt, but hey,
what was the issue with Tart though? That availability. Who's available right now?
And look who's playing very well because he's actually playing.
I know they want to transition to Hufanga, but he's been absent during the most important run of the year. Maybe it's not going to be that easy. I mean, there's two different things: what you want to happen, what does happen, right? Just saying. I wouldn't write off Tart just yet, because I got a whole campaign to lead in the offseason. Ryan says, let Jimmy play Sunday and play his way out of SF for good. Part of me feels that way too. Like, oh, Jimmy's going to play? Okay, that's great. That sounds like great. Are you sure you want this, Kyle?
This team,
I mean, I'm not going to be mad, but
this team this year, this is exactly how it was supposed to happen. From the chaos from January all the way through, how could this not end up this way? How could it not be literally the fan base fighting each other, the media fighting about who should be starting? One guy's probably starting his last game. Like they deserve all of this. They deserve all of the chaos. They deserve all of the circus. And as a content creator, if I could quote the wedding singer, I'm reaping all the benefits.
Oh, it is. Oh, absolutely. It's the best year ever. The fact that this season comes down to the last game and it comes down to a decision on which quarterback should play.
I love it.
Good. Too freaking good.